I'd like to ask a question from the point of view of a simple person. Someone who is afraid of this virus, fears for his loved ones, for his friends. You know, he goes in fear to the supermarket, wearing 2 masks, buying things for a month in advance. And it's the life of a normal person today. The mass media also keeps adding to it. This is how people feel. So please, some advice. How can such a person conduct his life? How should he behave at this time? How should he adapt to what's happening?
First of all, calm down. Have a seat. No point in running around. In general, people were not made in order to run around, but to sit and think a bit. What kind of life could we have besides the one that we have created for ourselves in the second half of the 20th century, against our own will? There's a different kind of life, where a person starts understanding what is he living for, not just running around until you fall and die. We don't understand where this coronavirus came from, and by the way, it's not important. Let's just say that it's a good thing.
And this is your advice for the common person.
Yes, for a simple person. It's stopping us. The virus? Yeah. It says, people, stop. Look what you did to our planet. You're destroying everything that you're sitting on. You're destroying all of nature. Nature that has developed you, gave birth to you, educated you, that you exist in. Our world was advancing toward a world war. It's simply that the corner into which we have pushed ourselves in, and there are such states, even in a person's personal life, that he goes into a certain situation and he feels that he can't get out of it, that necessarily it will lead him toward, pull him to a very bad environment, very bad things. He won't be able to come out of it. And we were in that situation.
So you're saying that the virus saved humanity from world war?
Undoubtedly, I'm sure of it. That were it not for this virus, then in the very near future, we would have simply started a war.
So we should thank the virus, that's what you're saying?
Undoubtedly. Kiss it. If it's around you, with its crown, corona, kiss it.
Look, I imagine a common person listening to this. I mean, a war is really bad, but
we were on our way to that. There was no other way out. Because we're egoists. And we have reached a state where only war can help us to renew our markets and to start running around again and to start making things after we destroy everything. And again, this is what we do.
Well, on a global level, I can understand this.
The virus itself is global. It's also a wonder. Look at the things that nature, or the creator, which is one and the same, has at his disposal.
So he really got to all of us, didn't he?
And so calmly, look what happened before that. Fires, volcanoes, hurricanes, but it was all happening somewhere there. You didn't feel it, but suddenly this tiny virus got to everyone. Amazing. And everyone agrees with it. Everyone. Someone still said something that, what do we care? It doesn't touch us. But once it came, that's it. Everyone came down. Therefore, we have to understand this special mission that the virus has. No point in talking about it a lot. We should talk about ourselves. And not how to protect ourselves from it, but how, with its help, can we adapt ourselves, all of us together and each of us in particular.
Okay, so I'm sitting in my closed room with my family.
So think about it. Why does it work the way that it does? Putting you in a separate room, and you're sitting there with your wife and children. You didn't see them for, probably 10 years.
Yeah, for a long time.
And now you can find out, what's his name? What are you doing? Ah, you're in the 5th grade already? You're so big? So now you'll start seeing your kids, and yourself, and your wife.
Yeah, it's actually very much like that. Now I'm home and I have time, and typically I just pop in and out.
Poor guy.
No, seriously. I just found myself suddenly talking to my wife about life, about how things are developing, and we've come to the point where we are reflecting on how we lived our life so far and what we want to do from now on. But another question. So, what kind of advice can you give about fear?
Fear of what?
Fear of being infected, of infecting others.
There were also other viruses, the flu, other things. People also died from that. We simply didn't talk about it because we got used to it. That every year, so and so many people die. And even now, the percentage is very low. This is exactly what I'm saying, that we're in panic about very natural things.
Yeah, but there is some kind of higher reason for this, right? A greater force that is navigating all of this, right? What's going on? I mean, scientists are saying exactly what you're saying, that a lot more people died from the flu, from car accidents, and so on. And at the same time, they too are sitting at home, and while they're writing about this, they too have the same feeling. So, what is this providence?
It's not through the virus that it's passed on to me, but that it's passed on to me through the mind, through the inner feelings. This is the type of virus that it is. It works in our mind and our heart, and this is why we're relating differently to it. What is there about it? You drink half a bottle of vodka, you forget about everything. But here, you can't. It's not so anymore. Starting with world leaders, presidents, and up to the person that sweeps streets. Everyone yields to it. And it's not just because the virus infected someone or killed someone.
It's not the mass media that publicizes it?
No. It seems to them that they're doing it. There are many theories about conspiracies, about where did it come from. I can imagine that the internet is overflown with it.
It's flooded. You wouldn't believe just how many speculations are out there. But still, you are persistent in what you're saying.
It was done in order to shake up mankind. Like you shake up a child, and then he's like, oh, you kind of knock the deafness out of him, and now he can listen.
And he can behave differently.
And it's amazing. This is how everyone is.
Yeah, from presidents to fishermen, everyone.
Yeah. And therefore, I'm really happy about how things are developing. Yeah, it's very special. And therefore, these are really special times. It's completely reshaping the world, rebuilding it ideologically, I hope, and not just financially or psychologically, but we're rebuilding the world spiritually, where the world is starting to think, what are we living for?
But will the world change, or will it forget about it, just like it happened with the World War or other disasters?
No, everything that happens on the corporeal level is forgotten within tops 100 years.
So the virus will also be forgotten?
If we allow it, it'll be forgotten.
So we cannot allow it to be forgotten then?
We can't. We have to understand that it's not a virus at all. It's mercy from above that shows us what a terrible world we have created and how much we're suffering in it, and that we've been so stupefied by it, like slaves. I run, get into the car in the morning, drive to work for 2 hours, work in order to fill the car, go back home. When I get back home, it's already evening. I watch some silly movie on TV, and the next day the same, and my wife and where the kids, I have no idea what are they doing. We pay for their extracurricular activities, and we work in order to pay for these activities, and we pay for these activities in order to work, and so on. It's terrible, everything that's going on.
So it's like a hamster that is running in a wheel.
Yeah, and we've created this kind of world for ourselves on purpose. Let's think, how can we change it? And the virus will help us. I wish.
And we should leave all our fears behind?
There should be no fears. There should be fear about one thing and only, for us to correctly use this given moment. That's it.
To draw the correct conclusions.
And the correct conclusions are very simple. Let's think a moment. What are we living for? How can we build our life differently? Still, we see that this tiny virus can suddenly turn us into really calm people that sit at home without jumping from place to place. We don't need these billions. Gradually, they'll go to waste, and thank God that not much will be left of them. We don't need all of these things. We've invented all the money, wealth, in order to show off to each other with our endless ego. Let's go in a different direction. And we can do it. Were the virus to work for a bit longer, and it would have cleaned us all, what would we have done then?
Look, there are billions of people. What are they going to live off after the virus? All the businesses will start collapsing, and then what?
They'll fall, of course. You see, planes are on the ground, ships are at the port, nothing to trade, and you also don't need all of these things. We'll provide ourselves with what we really need, and that's it. And everything will be calm.
So this way we'll have healthy food and healthy relationships. Is that possible?
Of course it is, as long as the virus doesn't run away. And without it, for sure, we will return to how we were. So, instead of the virus, we have to seriously brainwash ourselves and bring ourselves to some normal state.
So what do you mean? We have to brainwash ourselves so that what?
So that what keeps us today, and 1,000 times stronger, that it'll stay with us, that we'll understand that let's live for ourselves, and for ourselves means that I want to live for a state in which I exist eternally. And this can really catch us. All life long, we were running away from this question about death. And the virus, it's giving us a new, different state. Don't run away from death. You won't be able to escape it anyhow. Let's make it so that we overcome this imaginary line of death. We can do it. It's possible to be immortal. And the virus can help us in that.
How can we become immortal?
To rise above our ego. It is what puts us to death. The ego, it's not just that we want to show off to each other and to be stronger and smarter than others. The ego limits us. It gives us only a limited feeling of the world through our bodies. Let's feel the world through our inner structure, through our soul, and then we will see a completely different, infinite, whole and complete world. And it has nothing to do with religion. It's simply that let's feel it through ourselves, how we're living in a whole, complete and eternal world. The wisdom of Kabbalah, this is what it speaks about, and it has nothing to do with any religion or anything. It simply develops a person's soul, and through that we can really become happy. And all of these billions, one way or another, they'll disappear. And man will not need more than normal, healthy food, clothes, a normal family, These are all very simple things, really. Just not to work in order to throw things away. We work in order to throw away, work in order to throw away because the neighbor already has something new and I don't, and so on. We have to get rid of all this. So I really hope that through our materials on the internet, people will feel that we can reach this kind of state, and nature, on its part, will help us. Because otherwise, we are doomed.
All right, thank you very much. And on this optimistic note, nature is going to help us, right?
It'll help us, and the virus will not leave us.
All right, thank you very much.
Good luck, everyone.